And we're going to look at some of these, although there's more than 150 of these. So these fallacies make us think that we are right, although we are wrong. And Kahneman tells, I think it's Kahneman who tells a story about the robber. No, I think it's Danny and Kruger. These two researchers, they tell the story of a robber who went to a couple of banks without a mask, and he robbed them successfully, collected the money, looked at the camera, said hello, and ran away. And he was arrested a couple of hours later because he wasn't wearing a mask. They identified him. And when he was arrested, he was puzzled. He said, but I wore the juice, the lemon juice. He read somewhere that if you use lemon juice and ink, it makes it invisible. So he thought that he was invisible. So another fallacy is argument from authority. When we listen to someone who has authority saying, argue something, then we tend to believe it. X is true because such and such said so. And someone with authority could be the President of the United States, who said some things that are nonsense, such as this, and was retweeted and liked by hundreds of people, hundreds of thousands of people. Another fallacy is argument from history, because we believed for so many years that acupuncture works, therefore it works. It's ancient Chinese, therefore it works. So this is an argument from history. X is true because it's been believed for so long, because the scripts say so. Doesn't matter what scripts. And then here comes common sense again, and you're saying, a kid might say, all right, these animals were on Noah's Ark for 40 days and nights. What did they eat? And obviously animals feed with each other, correct? Argument from ignorance. This happens when we don't know where something comes from, for instance, the virus. Therefore, we include it's Bill Gates. I don't know why it's Bill Gates all the time, but it's Bill Gates. Conspiracy theories tend to flourish in uncertainty because we have a need to feel in control. Another fallacy, another problem is the availability heuristic. And this refers to the tendency to look for something that comes to our mind easily. So we believe that terrorists are very, very dangerous, whereas toddlers are not very dangerous. Why? Because we read in newspapers about this, but we don't read about toddlers killing people. And here's the statistics. This is the truth versus the availability heuristic. This comes first into our mind, but this doesn't. According to statistics, toddlers kill 21 people per year compared to 2 per year. So 1/10 by terrorists, or maybe all of them are less than toddlers. And there's other statistics. We're not afraid of lawnmowers. We're not afraid of this, but it kills a lot of people. And we're not afraid of other Americans killing us. And as you can see, we should be much more afraid of other Americans than toddlers or jihadists. Another problem we face is numeracy, lack of numeracy. Again, the availability heuristic will tell us that sharks are very, very, very dangerous, although we're not afraid to get in the car and drive around for hours in traffic and in dangerous conditions. What are the statistics? How many people are killed by sharks per year? Give me a number in the chat box, perhaps. How many people do you think die from sharks per year? 5. Close enough. The correct number is 10. Yeah, that's because we all watched Jaws. Whereas how many people die every year from car accidents in Greece alone, which is just a small city of China, for instance, 10 million people, there's 2,000 deaths, I think, per year in Greece alone. A major problem is this one, and I'm going to describe it with examples. Here's a test for you. We find out that the more churches a city or a town has, the more nightclubs it has. Can you please give me a reason? Why do you think we have, there's a correlation, there's a strong correlation between the number of churches and the number of nightclubs and cafeterias and discos? Again, if we do a study, we'll find that there is a big correlation. As these increase, these increase. Or in other words, as these increase, these increase. It's a difficult test. Not a lot of people find it. So I'm going to give you the answer. When we have a correlation and we find that two things increase at the same time, then it could be that this one causes this one, or it could be that this variable is causing this one. And some people say, oh, people sin and then they need to go to church, or they're good and then they go and have some fun. But we need to think that because something happens together with something else, it doesn't mean that this causes the other. It could be that these ones cause each other, or it could be that another third variable is causing these both. And in this case, the third variable that is the cause is the population. So the larger the city or the town, the more churches we have, and the more cafeterias, nightclubs. I'll give you a second example. The more high school we have, the more prisons we have. And you understand again that the variable that causes both the correlation is the third variable, the population of the city. And again, a third variable, the more bald people there are in an area, the more hairdressers we have. These two things are related, appear to be causing one each other, but they're not. It's the population of the city. I hope you understand the example, that because something happens together with something else, it doesn't mean that it causes it. Because this duck has crossed the door, it doesn't mean that she did it. Okay, correlation is not causation. People have a very, very, very hard time to understand what I'm saying here. And they make a lot of errors thinking that because I did this when that happened, therefore the treatment caused the effect. I'll give you some more examples because this is very crucial to understand. A lot of people argue about vaccines and causing autism. In the same way, we can have a similar correlation. As organic food sales increase, at the same time, autism cases increased. Therefore, we can conclude, if we don't know science, if we don't have critical thinking, that organic foods cause autism, as you can see clearly in this graph. See, as the years go on, the number of cases increases because the organic food sales increased. Again, this is wrong. There is a correlation. This is not false, but this does not cause the other thing. Same thing here. You see there's a very close correlation between ice cream sales and SARC attacks. And people might start, uneducated people might start saying, oh, it's SARCs like ice creams, therefore they eat people who ate ice creams, but it's not true. The correlation is due to summertime, hot weather, we go to the beach and SARC attacks increase. At the same time, we eat more ice cream because it's hot. So there is a correlation, but it doesn't mean that this one causes the other. Okay. If you don't understand it, your life will be complicated. Another problem is the argument from popularity. A lot of people believe that something is true because a lot of people believe in it. It's popular. A lot of people do acupuncture, therefore acupuncture plus the history argument. It's ancient Chinese. It's not ancient Chinese, by the way, medicine. Anecdotes are good. My uncle did this, my friend did this, but they can be worthless. Now I see that in the chat box you're fighting for or against homeopathy. Let's not do that. Let's just examine how we find the truth. Let's not get into a single argument about something. You may still believe it or not, but at least I'd like you to, at the end of the seminar, to be able to search, to do a proper search. Aloe vera, dozens of satisfied customers. If we follow the anecdotal evidence, we might say Therefore it works. So many people say it works, therefore it works. If we follow the science route, then we might look at randomized controlled trials at major universities published in good studies, in good journals, study after study after study after study, conclude that aloe vera does not have the effect that it does claim it has, and it's dangerous. It does have a single effect, but it's not what you think. You can Google it, but if you Google it, do not Google the benefits of aloe vera, because you will come up with maybe 1,000 sites saying how good it is. Perhaps you should Google the opposite, or go just like Kialo, the site that I described, go to the damages of aloe vera, or criticism, or critical thinking, or skeptics and aloe vera. Or you can just go to Wikipedia and start there. Some people say don't use Google search. Yes, there are problems in searching unless you know how to search. And there are probably better search engines, but it's a really good one if you want to start there. So all these fallacies, all these problems can affect us and can make us think that we're correct, despite the fact that we're totally wrong. So where do we find the answers? And the answers are in science. Now, a lot of you may disagree and say, no, science is misleading us. It's science. Scientists are corrupt and stuff. Scientists are people. Science is a method. So science is not corrupt. The method is not corrupt. Some people, perhaps 5%